have the other ones available in there.
Wait.
But
What? So, Luke, what are you drinking today? Coca-Cola.
Morning on the way to the gym and set my ukulele on top of the car and then drove off down the road.
Going to be the bow after that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Look at that.
I learned my lesson from last time. What a welcome, thank you. I drink the most fruity drinks imaginable.
It's laundry day.
it's laundry day.
So you always wear hats with laundry day.
I'm here to do you a favor, Jens. I just say more later.
So how did you two meet?
Well, there's these places in San Francisco. I think they're called bathhouses.
It's like one of those things where everyone wants to focus on like the big events that happen, but day to day, what we're doing is we're on like one of our draw streams, smoking weed, making comics. It's chill. It's so much fun, and like
Yes. Oh, man, I'm not a YouTuber. I do this because I want to sell comic books. Bam! Woo! It is Sunday, guys. It is Sunday. You know what that means. That means another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their hopes and their lives and their dreams, but also their creations and their campaigns and their comics, because I am kind of bored with mainstream, guys. And indie is where the passion is. All right, guys. Whew. I hope you're all having a fantastic day and a nice weekend and all of that. And the weather is nice, and so I'm pretty happy. Guys, for several reasons. One of the reasons is that Critical Blast has printed all the trade paperbacks of the Perfection collection. So we have the hardcover, we have the soft cover, and we have the extra book, the deleted edition. It's all printed, it's all done. So they are in fulfillment stage officially right now. So finally, guys, it took some time, but I've seen the photos. I haven't had the books yet because they are in the United States. I'm in the Netherlands, right? So I will receive my own badge. But first, you guys, I want you all to have your books as soon as possible, right? So it is actually happening. And this is my first trade paperback. So 6 issues of Perfect 10 collected. I'm so excited. It's so cool, guys. It's so cool. So that's one reason. The other reason is that I've been working on some cool projects. So I'm working on my fantasy thing, which is one of the coolest things ever. Really, really cool. And I started my vacation. So tomorrow is the first day of my vacation officially. So 3 days. 3 weeks. So this means I can do some more creating. So more like writing and stuff like that. And hopefully that's the plan. Launch the campaign for Safeguard Pandemonium on Kickstarter, which is now in pre-launch stage, and the link is below, guys. So go get notified for that. Whew. All right, guys. Let's see who's with us in the chat today. It is Pops. Pops is with us. Welcome, Pops. Hey yo, guys. We are broadcasting through the Madness Entertainment Group network, so this means multiple channels. Thanks to Pops right here. Thank you, Pops. Mike, welcome, Mike. Nice to see you, man. Dave, a merry drink to you and Ashley today. Thank you. And he says, thank you. And Pau, of course, for the surprise parcel from Brazil. I got safe and sound this week. Excellent. My first 11 by 17 piece of original art. Woo! Fantastic, Mike. I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so happy, man. This is fantastic. Original art from Pau. Pau is amazing. His art is fantastic. And now you have a original piece congratulations and thank you. And good times, man. Good times. Thanks for being here, man. All right, guys, send out the link to this stream so we can get some more people in, because we have a brand new guest today. Never been on the show before, which is cool. So I can introduce you to new people and new people to you, right? So, all right, let's do this. Let's do this, guys. Let's see if I have everything set up and ready to go. I do, because, ladies and gentlemen, may I have a very warm welcome for the guest of the hour, Mr. Ashley Land. Ashley Land,
Hey.
Hello, Ashley. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks. How are you?
Welcome, man. Welcome. Applause, says Mike. Applause. All right. Ashley, before we talk about anything, I need to ask you the first official question. What are you drinking?
I'm just having a cup of tea.
A cup of tea? Okay, that's good. Do you have a particular flavor, or is it just the neutral tea?
I'm just pretty much whatever's in the shop, really.
All right, sir. Right, wait. Before we start, I have a banner made. Look at this. There we go. Official. We're officially off right now. So, episode 227, Ashley Land, Unbreakable Argonauts number 2. All right. Before we talk about that, Ashley, you make comic books. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm certainly trying to. I've already made so I made Unbreakable Argonauts number 1. We fulfilled in 2024. Done a couple of short stories that I posted up on Substack, and yeah, this is the second full feature-length comic that I'm hopefully going to get off the ground.
That is great. So what got you into making comic books?
I think a lot of people in my situation kind of always wanted to make comics, like as soon as we got into the medium and the collecting habit. And COVID rolls around, there's a lot of free time, and you're saving up a little bit of money and starting to look into branching out and things. And I think everyone who wants to make comics, there's a time when you kind of overestimate how expensive and how difficult it is, which isn't to say that it's easy, but you definitely build up in your mind that it's going to be 10 times harder than it actually is, and 10 times more expensive. And I remember expressing to some people during lockdown that I would want to make comics, and I used to put up a lot of sketches of characters and that kind of thing, and someone got in touch with me and just said, I'm making a comic, and these are the rates that you should expect, and if this is something you think is doable, you should get out there and see if you can make it happen. And at the time, I'd been writing a lot of short stories, just prose that I was going to publish in an anthology book myself, and started to realize that I actually preferred that the characters and the stories I felt belonged in a comic book more than anything else. And yeah, I just started putting myself out there and going to make contact with some artists and look at their portfolios and discuss rates and that kind of thing. And I think everyone who reads comics a lot, you always gravitate towards a particular niche that isn't necessarily always it's not always being done justice by the mainstream publishers.
Right.
And for me, that was Golden Age comics. Where
okay.
I felt,
Yeah.
If you're lucky, maybe DC puts out a JSA book, but usually there's not really much going around in Golden Age specific Golden Age style comics.
Yeah.
And at that time, I just really wanted to kind of make my own universe that was really tailored to the Golden Age and Golden Age fans. And the whole idea is we want to tell stories that are made in that style of comic and specific to that kind of era, so 1930s to 1950s. And came up with the idea of kind of blending with it a kind of modernized Greek mythology. And so in each story, I want to include themes that are sort of, the kind of thing that you'd see in the Iliad or the Odyssey and that kind of thing, just modernized so it's more comic booky and more kind of, tailored for the superhero genre.
Okay, so was that your source of inspiration also, or do you mean something in that vein?
Yeah, I mean it's
Mm.
like the whole idea that I want to do is in each story there's like something that's kind of pulled from classic mythology and just turned into something
Oh,
more fitting for like a comic book. So in issue number 2 we're going to have a giant like robotic cyclops that's going to be included, and
okay.
as
Yeah,
we go on
yeah.
it's going to be that type of thing where it's going to be the ideas of Greek mythology just translated into a superhero story.
Right. Right. So yeah. So how did you come up with that? Because you said you basically thought about doing your own comics, but did you first start with the idea I wanted to do my own comics, and then you started to think of a concept, or did you have a concept that you wanted to do comics with?
It was more the characters, I think. So at the time I had a lot of these short stories that each one kind of it's like, as I said, one of my favorite eras in comics is the Golden Age, and I had all these ideas that were kind of tailored to and set around the Golden Age, but they were completely different stories. And then the more I started writing them, the more I realized that I actually liked the idea of all of these characters mixing together and going off on adventures themselves.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you're a big fan of like the old Jason the Argonauts movie. I really like the idea of kind of like legacy throughout the different eras of fiction. And
Okay.
absolutely, I grew up with that movie and absolutely loved it. And I kind of view Greek mythology as like the prototypical superhero, if that makes sense. Like you've got characters like Hercules and all the
Yeah.
different Greek gods.
Hmm.
And there's just something that I think really fits well between that and comic books. And yeah, the more I started to figure out like how these characters go together and the specific type of setting that I want them in, I just felt like Greek mythology was a really big. I mean, it's always been a big inspiration for me when telling stories,
Right.
and it was just really important to me that I include that in the universe.
Right. Mike says, interesting. Takes notes. Take notes, Christopher Nolan. Ahem. Yeah. Right. So yeah, so that's fascinating. So do your comics, is it like will people actually notice that it's like these are familiar stories in a new way told, or is it different enough for people to maybe not really realize?
So I mean, we have small details that I think give it away. So just for example, I'm a big fan of like the way DC tells its stories, where it has its own unique cities and kind of builds up the character of the cities themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, our stories are set in Icarus City, and it's just going to be like small details like peppered in. And the more it goes on, the more you'll kind of realize that it's a lot of reflections of Greek mythology.
Right. Sure. Yeah. So you said so this is your second comic. You also said you did something with webcomics before this.
Yeah, not so much webcomics. I mean, I commissioned a few short stories. That,
yeah.
Some of them would be like backup stories that I'm going to print out, and some of them are probably going to be Substack exclusive, just to like keep interest there.
With stories, you mean like stories or comics,
Like
short comics?
Short comic stories, yeah.
Okay, right. And you wrote them all.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
commissioned different artists for different stories. Yeah.
Sure. Did you write stuff before you started to make like comics?
Yeah. So the first story I put out was like a short horror anthology book. That was just something I self-published through Amazon. It wasn't like a big project. It was just to get in the mood of writing things for myself and just try out self-publishing, see what people thought.
Right. Yeah. This is always a fascinating question to me, right? So you start to write your own material. How did you actually know or figure out that you could write, that what you wrote was good, had the quality you wanted?
I mean, I've been interested in writing pretty much since I was a kid, and always got you know, like coming up through school, always got like pretty good feedback from teachers and that
Right.
kind of thing. And
You have a knack for it.
I suppose so. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
you know, it's something that I'd like to do myself in my spare time. So, you know, even if I didn't get any eyeballs, I think I'd still probably write short stories and that kind of thing, just for myself, my own
Sure.
entertainment. And yeah, it's a lifelong passion of mine.
Right. So what's the biggest difference between writing like short stories for a book and scripts for a comic?
For comics, I think you definitely have to be more focused on because when you're writing a book, you can kind of not necessarily meander, but you can add in a lot of detail for things that in a comic wouldn't necessarily matter. So, you know, just like setting the scene, whereas in a comic book, that kind of stuff disappears as the action gets going.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing you can do is, I think there's more focus that readers will pay in a book on things like, you know, like a character's internal monologue and that kind of thing. Whereas if you add too much prose into a comic, I think it's very hit or miss with people. Where I think it's definitely more of a visual medium, and you have to play to that a lot more.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
I think works a lot better because it's just you know, like with comics, I think you have this really nice balance between film and prose, where you get to offer up like a really nice combination of detail, and you get to be a lot more imaginative than you necessarily would if you were doing something like a film, but also a lot more direct, and you know, you can explore much bigger ideas than just in a book.
Sure. Yeah. You said you kind of liked the golden age, right? With comics. So comics back then often utilized thoughts of characters, right? You could do your comics have that also?
Yeah, we do. Not as wordy as the golden age comics, but yeah,
right.
It was something I was pretty keen to bring into my stories, because it's something that you don't really see much in, definitely not in mainstream comics as much anymore.
No.
But I think it's a pretty useful storytelling device.
Yeah, it's kind of phased out of comics right now. I also write books, and I never use like thought balloons. I also find it difficult to write thought balloons without like telling too much. I rather have like the visuals doing the story plus the dialogue, and people figure things out, right? But it's a classic way of telling stories with a different feel, right? And you're going after that vibe.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you have you know, when you want to have like a little bit of exposition, sometimes you can, if it's done in dialogue, it feels a little bit too forced and a little bit too clunky. Like, if these two characters have a good backstory, would they necessarily be saying this stuff, or it would just be implied with them? Whereas if they're thinking it and it's more of a monologue than the dialogue, I think sometimes that just works a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gives you like a little bit of the character's perspective of what's going on. Yeah.
I got you. Welcome, Ernest. Cosmos Comics. Welcome, man. Guys, Cosmos Comics is a YouTube channel, has a YouTube channel. Go subscribe if you like comic books. He does daily comic book reviews. Welcome, Ernest. Mike says, I was just reading an 80s comic before the stream with multiple characters, thought balloons. I'm always a supporter. Yeah, it has its charm. Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. So that were your influences. You have a clear theme that you're going for. So then you had to. So you were like producing this concept. You had like. So then you had to create characters for it, right?
Yeah.
How did that process go?
Yes, a lot of them were contained to their own stories at one point. And one of the things I was really driven by was the idea of having a universe where, so we're starting out with a team book, but the idea is that each character on the team kind of represents their own genre. So you've got one character who, if he has a solo story, would be in like a war story, and another character, if he has his own story, would be in, you know, horror or science fiction, something like that.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
so the idea is to have everyone introduced as a team, and just to see how everyone kind of mixes and matches. And then as the series goes on, I'd like to kind of trim down the team a little bit as the story calls for it. So maybe issue number 3 is going to be more of like a mystery detective book, and then issue number 4 is going to be straight science fiction, and just kind of like change what the team is. One of the things that really influenced me growing up was the Justice League cartoon. And I think with the, like, if you ever saw Justice League Unlimited, I think it was a very similar premise where each episode the lineup would kind of match the type of story that they were telling. So if we want to tell like space adventure, we'd have these characters, and if we want to tell a action story, we'd have these characters. And that's the thinking behind the series, is it's that kind of revolving door of characters, and maybe these characters are all suited to this genre, and these characters are suited to this one.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, each character was originally designed for their own solo stories, and each a completely different genre. But I just found that they all fit the same type of niche, and because they fit very well together on a team. And as I was writing the first issue, I think I was 100% right.
Yeah, it's fascinating idea. So basically, you created solo characters, and you thought what would happen if you put them together. You have like everyone has their own theme going on, so this makes a dynamic team, right?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
And then everyone brings their own kind of unique skill set to the team as well. So you got like detectives and snipers and that kind of thing.
Yeah. So your original plan was to make individual comics and then later combine them into.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it was a mix of comics and just short like prose stories. But I think the biggest factor in bringing them all together was the cost of making comics, where it's just a lot more economical to introduce everyone in a single story than to write like a solo story for each character, because you've got 7 and it costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time to get them all out. Yes.
So how do you prevent like you have to your book, you want to bring in the readers, you want to entertain people. So how do you prevent from overwhelming readers with all these ideas and characters?
Yeah, so for this story, it's just a very streamlined, simple plot. Is that funny you said that, because when I was first scripting out issue 2, I did pretty much what you're talking about. I just threw too much at the readers. There was like a time when I was going to have like 20 different characters in the story.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I was just like, the more I looked at it, I was like, this is just too much to throw at everyone in just issue 2.
Yeah.
And went back and I was like, I've already released issue number 1. I think it was a very direct story. It didn't ask too much of people. It didn't throw too much at them. It didn't explore too many different corners of the world. It was just a very simple team story that you could find in a Bronze Age Justice League comic. And because that's, in terms of like scripting a story, I think Bronze Age Justice League comics and for writing a team book, are probably the biggest influence on me, because they're just very direct and to the point. It's not, if you're picking up one of those comics, you don't have to have read the 20 comics that came before it. And yeah, I think one of the most important things when you're introducing people to a new universe is to not necessarily dwell on like origin stories and that kind of thing. Just throw them into like a day in the life of the team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we did. And so I think it just works very well as a streamlined adventure. Yes.
You have to you have to write completely different when you do a team book instead of a solo book. I'm doing my first real actual team book. I've done kind of teams within solo books, right? But to write team books is different. You have to think different. Yes. All right, man. Let's bring up your campaign. The Unbreakable Argonauts issue 2 on Kickstarter right now. Let me enlarge this a little bit. Right, so this is on Kickstarter. The link, guys, it's pinned in the chat right there. But it's also below this video, so go check it out. Go share it. And if you back, let us know, so we can have a little celebration right here, right now. All right. Ashley, shall we start with watching the trailer?
We should, but I should just give you a little bit of warning. It starts pretty loud, so just have the volume down a little bit.
The trailer is pretty loud?
Yeah. It's like a music video.
I hope that I can change the volume here. I don't know. So we'll find out.
A skeleton in a suit and tie tells us what we ought to buy. A bag of cocaine into your heart, support your conscience, that's a start. In the game, some have to lose, fun parties, and you can't choose your own into social class. Stuck in, but it's hard to pass their social norms and social rules. With social scams, with social rules. They tell us all their social lies, ignoring all our social tries. We lose the game before we start. We watch it dance, we fall apart. Let's be ourselves, never be social. We'll play the game, never be social. Whoa, whoa. Kid and Bob in Brink disease tell us what we ought to be. Gotta try what to drink. Ignorant bliss, no need to think. That Bob takes beat us on the face. King sucks blood and his workplace. They take from you, take from me. Societies, anomalies with social norms and social rules. With social scams, with social rules. They tell us all their social lies, ignoring all our social crimes. We lose the game before we start to watch it dance. We fall apart, so let's be ourselves, never be social. We'll play the game, never be social. Whoa, whoa.
Black screen?
Yeah, I forgot to trim out the ending of the song.
Okay, now it's just song. All right, man. Whoo! That was like good old-fashioned punk, right?
Yeah.
All right. Look, Meredith, says Mike, a comic book ape.
Oh yeah, I love. It's like a staple of the Golden Age. They just had gorillas and apes and everything. It was something I had to include in the comic.
20 characters. That sounds like JLU influence. All right.
Yeah, it does, but it's a lot to throw people on in like the first couple of issues, you know.
Yeah. Meredith says too many characters is always the bane of comics. Who is this? What does she do? What's going on? Yeah. You have to slowly build things, right? Which is a luxury we often don't really have within indie comics.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger publishers have that kind of advantage where they can put out like a one-shot explaining this character and a mini-series explaining this character, whereas for us, we have to keep it all going in the same story.
Yes. Mike says, good call on displaying the finished art, including lettering in your trailer and promotions, Ashley.
Thanks, man.
I thought that I saw some, like, familiar things in the sense of like your own versions of familiar characters, like the Rocketeer. I saw in there. Some sort of Green Lantern. I'm not sure, but you had several characters. I was like, oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah, it's really one of my favorite parts of comics is the old pulp magazine heroes. So like Doc Savage and the Shadow and the Phantom and the Rocketeer and those kinds of things.
Yes.
And I kind of like walk in that line between where you want to kind of do your own version of a character, but you also get pretty worried about copying too much.
Yeah. Yes.
But I mean, it's design-wise, definitely some similarities, but I'm hoping as we do more with the story, it's going to be more distinct and as people realize that it's more of an original character.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Oftentimes the characters start as like homages or pastiches or whatever, and then become their own thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. 1 free floppy per order. Every physical order comes shipped with a free random comic from a personal collection. What?
Yeah, I'm trying to downsize my own collection, and this is a lot easier, and I think it's a lot easier than selling to a store where you're not going to get much money, and I think it's a pretty good incentive to back the comic.
Okay. Well, I hate Ace, says Marinus. Big chance that Marinus, any comic you can send Marinus, and he probably has it. He has like everything. It's crazy. All right. A bit about yourself. Then we have some arts. Can I zoom in a little bit more? Yes, I can.
Yep.
Thunderman. What is Thunderman?
Yeah, so I should just add a little bit of context, which is the premise of this universe is that a lot of the heroes kind of trace their origins back to the Second World War. So some characters were spies during the war, some characters were created through some like science experiment during the war. Thunderman is like the closest thing we have to Superman in terms of the level of strength that he has. More so Golden Age Superman before he got like the huge power upgrade. And the hope with this is to kind of tell it as like an old-fashioned comic strip where we're gonna put out like maybe 1 per month or something like that, and then we're gonna collect them in the comic. So this is like chapter 1, and the basic premise is he's an archaeologist. He goes into the temple in Egypt, and he finds an amulet, and the amulet turns him into a superhero.
Right.
And that's the premise of Thunderman.
And the power set is close to that of Superman.
Yeah, it's closer to like Golden Age Superman. So he's not, he's not like lifting mountains or anything like that. He's jumping instead of flying, that kind of thing.
Yes. All right. Cool, man. Right. So when you started out, you didn't have your network yet of like artists and letterers, and so
yeah, it was something that took a lot of time. Whereas originally it was actually going to be a different comic, but then I realized I had a lot more affection for these characters and for this story. And I met Daniel Max was the first artist that I met, and at one point it was just going to be me working with him. And as I'm sure you know, between when you write a script and you're ready to launch the campaign and actually putting out the comic that's a lot of time, and you can get distracted with other stories that you want to tell. And so as time went on, I was like coming up with these short stories that I wanted to include in the campaign. Some of them were like just brief little origin stories. Some of them were just to add a little bit of backstory. And worked with I met different artists as I went along, and a lot of them were pretty eager to work on the comic. And I've worked with at this point I think I've probably worked with about a dozen artists on various different things, and got a good few backup stories and short stories that we're going to include in the comic.
Cool. Yeah, it's it can be tricky sometimes to find the right artist for a particular book. Sometimes you don't really know what you want, but you know what you don't want, right? So
I had that a lot because I don't know how you work with people. When I put out, what I usually do is I go to social media and I just put out a call to I'm hiring at the moment, and let me see your portfolios.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people, like, no matter how specific you are about the type of story that you want to do, everyone
Yes.
gets in touch with you, and so you're looking at like
Yes.
maybe you specify a golden age American style, and people are sending you like manga art, and they're sending you like webtoon art, and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Well, they can always try, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to send out a lot of rejection messages as well, which isn't fun.
No, I know. I don't really do that often anymore. Sometimes I have a project, and I have my network now, right? But sometimes I have a particular project, and I'm not really sure what I want, and then I put up this ad, and then my inbox blows up, and it's like, and people don't really filter themselves out. Like people don't see from themselves that they're not really ready yet for prime time often. That also, so I have to give them a few tips, like work on this or work on that. I don't really like doing it, but yeah. Right. So this is a page drawn by.
This is a page drawn by Daniel Mack. So this is one of the first pages of issue 2.
Okay. Yeah. And
and
this will be colored, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
The main stories will always be in full color. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, so like if anyone's watching and they bought issue number 1 ended on a cliffhanger because the first 2 issues are their own, that's one story arc. And so this is just the wrapping up a little bit of what happened at the end of issue 1.
Okay. What's happening here? This skeleton with a cape? What's going on?
Yeah, so the story that we're telling in issue number 1 is there's in the background of everything there's this Russian, and you can see all of his soldiers around. This Russian major who's kind of orchestrating and paying for all the major supervillains. And issue number 1 ends with the supervillains kidnap one of the superheroes, and they make off in the big airship that you see. So these are the triumphant villains coming back from the mission and ready for whatever's coming next.
Right. What's his name?
That's Green Ghost, and then behind him you've got Dr. Venus.
Okay. Yeah. Airship. Mike says airship blimps is mandatory to Golden Age adaptation. Yeah, you want to capture that time zone and feel. Absolutely. Cool, man. Yeah. So, what's your? I'm just curious, right? What's your writing process? For instance, this page we're looking at right now. So, do you make your script in such a way that you break down every panel for the artist, or is it just like describing what happens and you leave it to the artist to figure it out?
Yeah, so usually what I'll do is I'll describe each panel, but I leave it up to the artist as to how he wants to, the layout of the panels and any extra detail he wants to add in. Usually what I'll do is I'll have a description of the page and then follow up the description of the page with the description of the panels. And then usually what will happen is when I'm working with Daniel, he'll add in things himself. So maybe he'll say, like, I think this makes a little bit more sense than what you described. And then we kind of, we have like a little back and forth, and a lot of the time he's 100% correct in what he wants to change.
All right. Yeah. Yes. Yes, you have to give them as much freedom as possible, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
All right, next page. This is from the same artist?
Yep. This the first page that I got colored. So issue number 1, basically there's 2 things going on. There's the team ends up splitting up into 2 groups. And so their headquarters they have their own manor. And they've got like their own, like little Batcave kind of base underneath it. And issue number 1 ends with both teams of the superheroes being ambushed. And so the guys back at the manor, they've got to deal with this evil gorilla, and the other team had to deal with a bunch of soldiers and mercenaries. And then issue number 2, everything's going to come together, and they're going to head out to rescue some of their friends.
Right. Mike says, I like that close-up of the gorilla's face on the right side of the page.
Yeah, me too. We have a good few close-ups of the gorillas. I don't know what it is. I just think something about gorillas just goes so well with comics. They just
Yes.
always have.
There's a reason you see a lot of them in comics, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, and so who are these guys? So who is this gorilla and this hero or villain?
So the hero is Thunderman. We've actually got.
Oh, that is Thunderman,
Yeah,
right?
that's Thunderman.
Okay.
We've actually got 2 gorilla characters. You know, like my inspiration for the gorilla characters was kind of like Professor X and Magneto. We've got like completely different, you know, both very intelligent but completely different worldviews and philosophies, and end up on completely different sides of good and evil. And the gorilla's, you know, kind of let himself be captured so he could infiltrate the base and take on the heroes. And his plan is to make off with some magical artifacts so he can bring them back to the Russians and kind of get the advantage in the Cold War.
Right. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, Tales of the Argonauts. Issue 2 only gets you the Unbreakable Argonauts 2 story arc.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I should just say we have 2 different perks here. We've got, the way I want to sell the comic is every campaign we have like a regular issue, and then we have an anthology. And so if you just want to get like the cheaper regular issue, that's just the 32-page main story. And then you can get, either you can get them together or you can get them, you know, either or. And so the other one's Tales of the Argonauts, which is an anthology book, and that's going to have, for this campaign, it's going to have issues 1 and 2 collected together, as well as a bunch of backup stories and short stories and that kind of thing.
Right. All right. Tales of the Argonauts. Cool. Homage cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, man.
And this cover's by Davis Cotton. Probably one of my favorite things that I've commissioned for the, especially in terms of like the covers, one of my favorite ones that I've commissioned.
Right. Was it before the Uma Thurman cover, right? Was this?
Yeah.
Was that also based on something else, or like
from Pulp Fiction?
The Pulp Fiction. I don't know. I only know the Pulp Fiction cover, right?
I think it was original for the. I know it was like influenced by a lot of the older crime comics and crime magazines.
Oh yes.
I don't know which. I couldn't tell you if he had a specific one in mind.
All right. Okay, then we have Gorilla. Gorilla's back.
Yeah. So
I think I prefer that cover to Uma Thurman's poster. Look at that. Look at that, man. Sorry, man. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just going to say this still snippet is from issue number 1. Because issue number 1 is going to be included in the anthology book, I just wanted to give people like a taste of the first issue as well.
Okay, yeah.
Just so they can have a look at like because both are drawn and colored by the same people, so this just gives you like a better look at what everything's going to look like when it comes out.
Sure. Yeah. All right. The Crime Syndicate of Doom.
Yeah, so this is one of the backup stories that we're going to include, which is leaning more kind of into Silver Age comics, and the idea here is I wanted to switch things up a little bit, and so this Crime Syndicate of Doom is it's like a comic backup story that focuses on a team of villains instead of the heroes. And the idea is they're like kind of bumbling through different crimes and come out like silly schemes to try and beat the heroes and always failing.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I like the idea of telling at least a few stories from the perspective of villains rather than heroes.
Yeah. It can be fun.
It's a lot more fun to play with.
So who are they? Can you name them and tell us a little bit about these characters?
So these characters are actually the heroes of that story.
Okay.
Basically, I just wanted to throw in some more, not necessarily generic, but not the main characters, not the main heroes from the story, but a different set who just kind of exist to be the foil against the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got the Hornet, you've got Lady Liberty, you've got Omega Man, you've got Luke Bradley, and you've got the Owl. And the idea here is like a bunch of heroes who, like if you like Marvel Civil War, it's basically just the idea of heroes who are registered with the government and do the bidding of the government. So it's more of like a cops and robbers kind of idea.
Right. That guy in the syndicate, second from the right, looks like Ron Burgundy from Parks and Recreation's sitcom.
Ron Swanson, you mean?
Yeah, I think Burgundy is from
Anchorman.
yeah, from Anchorman.
Yeah.
Yes, Swans. Yes. Second from the right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's Luke Bradley, and he's actually going to appear in another backup story, which is Lucky Duck, and that's the premise of that story is basically a couple of private investigators. One of them's this older detective, and the other one's a duck detective.
Yeah. Cool. Red Star.
Yeah, so this is the crime syndicate of Doom. These are
Shaman.
the villains who work together.
Runaway Jane. Thaddeus Thorne. All right. Okay, so yeah, it's really clean style. Really.
So this story is drawn by Leonardo Roca, who I went with because I saw his style and it's very like cartoony in a good way. Kind of reminds me of like Saturday morning cartoons, and that was exactly the idea I was going for the story, and it's just a perfect match for it.
Okay. Yeah. It's the interesting design.
Yeah, this story is definitely more in the vein of like Silver Age comics, so a little bit more science fiction and
a little
the silly side of superheroes.
Yeah, a little bit of a Kirby vibe, like the way it is rendered, like the yes, the good, the bad, and the monsters.
Yeah, so when I said before,
cool.
like, it's very easy to get distracted when you're waiting between scripts and finished.
Yes.
And as I was working on issue number 1, I just fell in love with like Western comics, and especially like Bronze Age Western comics, like with Western Tales and the Jonah Hex books. And yeah, here I just wanted to do like a Western, kind of like a little bit of Zorro, a little bit of like old school adventure, and just throw it in with the Western and add in some horror and some vampires and that kind of thing.
Yeah, man, I like this.
Yeah,
a lot happening.
This cover's by Fabrizio Ao. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's the creator of Horror Suva, which is like one of my favorite indie comics out there.
Okay. Yeah, it looks great, man. It's yeah, really cool. All right. Some sequential pages right here. All right. Lucky Duck Incorporated.
Yep. This is kind of like a mystery book, so it's set in the same city as the main story. It's set about five years earlier than the story that you're going to be reading in issue 2.
Is that Ron Swanson again?
Yeah. But this is like, it's like a couple of detectives down their luck, and I think detectives are a really good way to expand. If you're telling a story in a city, I think detectives are just a really good way to explore it more without necessarily having the same stakes as a superhero comic or breaking the world.
Right.
And it's just going to be like a fun street level exploration of the city and taking on a bunch of good mysteries along the way.
Cool. And is the fact that one of them is a duck, is that ever addressed, or is it just what it is?
Yeah. So one of the kind of key events in the history of the universe is during the Second World War, they had a lot of random science experiments on animals. One of the ones that happened to come out was the duck, and other ones were like talking gorillas and all that kind of thing. I love the idea of having like sentient, talking animals on the loose, and as someone else mentioned, like Howard the Duck, and Howard the Duck was a big inspiration on me, and definitely wanted to explore my own version of that.
Okay, right. Right. Pages, interesting style.
Yeah, this one's drawn by Jordi Perez, who's worked on. Jordi's actually worked on a lot of cool comics, a lot of like Xenoscope and Boom comics.
Okay.
I think he's done some James Bond comics and Firefly comics, that kind of thing. But yeah, I came across Jordi and like one of the indie artists who I found was perfect for the like the time scale and the genre, and had to work with him.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The lettering is also nice. It's professional work.
Yeah.
Sometimes you see like letterings, like, come on, man. It's,
Yeah. There's like way too much space between the panels, between the lines, and yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, it's all very, very dynamic, the art here. Look at this. I always like in comics that you see cars like not touching the ground to indicate motion, you know?
Yeah.
Yes. Cool. Yeah. All right. Raven and the Red Claw. What's this about?
So this is like a good World War II spy adventure, and it's you've got the Raven, who he's on the main team, and he started out as a spy during the Second World War. And the premise here is like they go down over a fictionalized version of Madagascar, and the plane crashes, and the plane's carrying a monster, and the monster gets loose, and he has to work with he has to work like the kind of jungle pulpy hero to find the monster and beat the Nazis and hopefully save the day for the monster.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. The Crimson Eagle. There's a lot here, man. Crimson Eagle First Flight. Oh, I love this. This is amazing. This isn't really the like Golden Age, right? But it's
it's like a translation of the Golden Age, really.
Yes.
But yeah, this was actually, I think this was the first short story that I commissioned. So we already have I think we had seven pages on issue 1 as the backup story. And then as we do this one, if we meet our funding goal, we're going to extend the story for the anthology book. This is all basically just the characters first, because he started out as like a military hero, and then he ends up going rogue and joining the Unbreakable Argonauts. And this is like his first military mission in this story.
Right. Okay. Cool. I love this piece. Really cool.
Yeah.
This is a different artist, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Rich Parada.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So a lot to see here, guys. The link to all of this is in the chat. It's also below, so you can scroll through this on your own tempo. Check it out. Right. There's a lot going on in this campaign.
Yeah.
You have you just launched, right?
We've been up for about 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks right now.
Yeah.
Okay, you have 28 more days to go.
Yeah.
And you need a little boost, guys. So go share out the campaign, guys. Let's get this going. Let's get some more eyes on it. So
I should just say that if you back the anthology comic, that's going to be probably at least 100 pages long.
Oh, wow.
100 pages of artwork story. And then we could probably going to add some stuff in, like short prose stories and creator interviews and that kind of thing.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So ideally it's going to be like a really nice thick paperback.
Right. Yeah, I have this weird currency right here because I live in Europe. So let me see if I can change that for a moment. US dollar. So it's easier for people to calculate. So you have like, let's see, the Tales of Argonauts book is $41. It says here, $41. But it's more than 100 pages, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So you get a lot for your bucks, guys. You can also get the digital book of the Unbreakable Argonauts 2 for just $6, €5. So what's the status, by the way, of this book?
So issue number 2, where it's like a true crowdfund where we're only got about 5 pages done so far.
Okay.
Got a bunch of like the backup stories done, and
Yes.
then if we meet the funding goal, we're going to get straight to it. We're going to probably get the comic, the main story of issue number 2. We're probably going to get that done by September, October, and have it printed out before Christmas.
Okay.
I've given myself a fulfillment date of March. That's just because, you know, like you never really know what's going to happen, and it's better. I think it's better to be on time but take a little while than to be late and
Yes.
keep pushing the date back.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. All right. So you can already support this campaign for just $5 or $6, guys. You get your digital comic. You also can get the first book. So if you want to get your feet wet with this like concept or title, you can also get this one, issue 1. And we have some extra covers. The Jody Perez cover, $14. That's reasonable. That's a very good price. Daniel Max cover. Yeah, cool, man. Rich Parada cover. There aren't like bigger like examples of these covers on the campaign itself, right?
No, I can add them though.
I can't remember seeing this in bigger. And then we have the collection.
Yeah, so the collection is basically just the anthology comic, but in digital form.
Oh, yes. Cool. Right. Then we have the Jason Sandberg cover. You also have a backer for that. Then this wonderful cover by Lucia D. And you can get your ad space.
Yeah. So the ad space is just it's a full page ad of whatever you want to advertise.
Yeah. Cool, man. And it's limited, guys. So only 8 pages for ads.
Yeah.
Tales of the Argonauts, a yellow cover for $47. Cool. And they have the variant multi-pack. All the variants. Four comics is this. Yep. Cool.
And then that comes with the digital as well.
Oh, cool. And then the retailer pack for $10. 10 comics for $75. Okay, there's a lot going on. A lot of perks here. Okay, guys, the link I will put it in the chat again, but it is pinned. But just in case, it's right here, so you can check it out. You can share it out. There we go. All right, really cool. 23 backers right now. 28 days to go. You have a lot of like campaigning to do. Do you have some shows planned, or what's your strategy go?
Yeah, I've been on some shows, got some shows coming up, and been trying my hand at a TikTok. So.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Gonna keep pushing it until the end.
Freely gifted random floppy with every physical backing. A unique deal, says Mike. It is. It is a unique deal. All right, man. Cool. Well, good luck, man. Good luck with your campaign, and thank you for showing us this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Before we close off this show, guys, I have my own thing going on. So let me switch over to this tab for a moment. This is a pre-launch page of Safeguard Pandemonium, which is my book. I am the creator and the writer. I am working together with Alan Goldman, guys, and we are producing this. This is more 90s. So if you like skip to the 90s, and then if you prefer that, you can check this out also. This is so I am building the campaign right now, so I hope I can launch it pretty soon. So get notified while you can, guys. So here are some examples of covers. So this is the cover by Alan Goldman. He's also the interior artist I think every cover, the primary cover needs to reflect the art that's inside, right? So you know what you're gonna get. So this is Safeguard. It's a fantastic, like, superhero book, right? And some of these characters I created like 30 years ago, and finally I can use them. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. All right, then we have cover B by Paul Rodriguez, guys. If you like the Perfect 10 series, which is this series, Perfect 10, I've been working on this series for years with Paul Rodriguez, the artist, and he did the B cover for Safeguard, which is basically a spin-off book from the Perfect 10 series. But you don't need to read the Perfect 10 series because everything is its own thing, right? All right, then we have the back cover right here, also by Pau, colored by Federico Siak. These are villains that I created specifically for this story, as if I didn't have plenty of other characters already. So yeah, we have like 7 brand new villains also. Really, really awesome stuff. I'm really proud of it. And we have a new wraparound cover, which is featured right here. So go check that out, guys. The link is below this video. I will also put it in the chat right now. Paste. There we go. It's in the chat right now. So go get yourself notified, and you will get you will know when we launch. All right, stop sharing. There we go. Whoo! Wow. Ashley, thank you so much, man. Thank you for being my guest for today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Good luck with your book and with your campaign and with your career and whatever you're going to do.
Thanks.
I hope it's a huge success.
Thank you.
And special thanks to the chat, to everyone showing up. Thank you so much for your interaction. We appreciate it. And if you're watching from the replay, hello and thank you. And if you like this conversation, give it a like. And if you didn't like the conversation, give it a dislike. And I'm very sorry. Mike says, thank you both, Dave and Ashley, for another entertaining hour and promoting a great looking book.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for being here, man. Happy vacation to you, Dave. Don't spend it all in Ravix World. Who knew you'd get into fancy? Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, guys, also, we went over, I was like 2 days ago, my channel had 790 subscribers, and now we're at 811. So we jumped over the 800 threshold like yesterday. Thank you all so much, guys. This is fantastic. When I started this, I didn't think I would even get like 8 subscribers. I'm like, you never know. All right. Woo, says Marinus. All right, guys. Thanks again, Ashley. Thanks again, chat. And I will be back next week, guys. So same channels, same time, brand new guest. And if you're a creator of indie, whatever, novels, comics, games, reach out to me and we will schedule you in for one of these shows. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day and see you next week. Bye.
Bye.